we do have a serious problem in this country with you know, white men targeting children. We do have a serious problem in this country with you know, white men targeting children in the church, you know, with it online, and they're not being dealt with. And actually, it's coming to a point now where it's actually vital that we look into this, or someone with some legal stance looks into this and says, you know, hold on a second, this isn't adequate for a man that's raped a child. How can he not go to prison? It's crazy. Crowdfund for legal costs. Really, what needs to happen is a collective group needs to come together, experienced lawyers, and to work out how we can go against the system, to bring a case to them, to find out a review in how sentencings are handed down. I mean, what possibly could this guy have that wouldn't send him to jail? You've got another one here, police officer in it's all positions of power. If you're a police officer and you commit a crime against a child, you should be going to prison. You're in a position of power. Yeah, it's corruption from the very top. But look at the conspiracy that people are, you know, especially the media, talk about the conspiracy theorists around, you know, the sex rings around the world. I mean, let's look at Hunter Biden. It's come out, and this is very, very serious. That this guy travelled to America, travelled to China, was paid millions and millions of dollars. Some of the stuff that's been mentioned about what he did to these children, they are satanic, and I just can't, for the life of me, think that he's the only one. There must be so many of them that must be doing this, and it's only right that we go against it. Crime against a child, you should know straight away that you're going to prison. There shouldn't be no ifs or buts. If you commit a crime against a child, just like I said, if you carry a gun and you get caught with a gun, you know you're going to prison. And why doesn't the same thing not happen for paedophiles? It's insane. We have a war against paedophiles. The problem is so big, it's so widespread around the world, that actually it shows how much they're allowing to happen, because they're not stupid. You know, the FBI, the CIA, MI5, MI6, all these, you know, real intelligence agencies, they must know about certain individuals. Like they've known for 6-7 months about Hunter Biden. Right way, politicians making sure their money's, you know, all their expenses are paid, everything's happy and dory, when actually they're not doing anything to combat the biggest crime we have, biggest problem we have around the world right now isn't terrorism, isn't car crime, it isn't anything but crimes against children. We have a large population of this world that like abusing children, and no one really in depth is talking about it. You've seen all sorts coming out from all over the world, especially in places and Indonesia, where, you know, middle-aged men are travelling there to purely, you know, to rape children because they know they can get away with it over there. I do believe that there is a couple of reports from the Trump administration and the justice system that have foiled a lot. They've done some really, really good work under Trump's leadership, completely under Trump's leadership. But this country's wet. The politicians are wet. And the justice system is a joke, absolute joke. And the more that we just talk about it, the more that we just say these things, it could be your child, it could be my child, you know, in the future generations. What do we do? So it's something to think about. It's something to think about. You know, are there lawyers out there that will go up against the justice system, try and get these individual judges to rethink about these sentences that they're putting down on people? Look at a paedophile online that's talking to young girls and asking them for pictures, because the outcome is exactly the same. It's abuse of children. Yes, they are both classed as paedophiles, but if you don't deal with the problem with factual evidence to who they are and how you go about it, it's just you have to determine who these people are, which communities they're coming from, how to deal with them, and sentencing them right. They're not sentencing people in all colours. If you commit a crime against a child, you should go to prison. It's that simple. And look, I want you to listen to a couple of reports that I pulled up. So Lee Bertram was 44, and he was a chief inspector with the West Midlands Police. Didn't go to prison. We've got Ross Coleman, 42, streamed the vile clips from his mobile phone onto his smart TV while working as a sergeant. Didn't go to prison. The monster that raped a 5-year-old child, the mum ran out of court screaming. The relationship broke down. They've absolutely let this family down. The guy didn't go to prison. You've got a priest that went about his way in altar boys, the ones that come in praying on them, didn't go to prison for this. We're all going to be talking about this for years and years to come, and it's going to get worse and worse. They're normalising paedophilia as we've seen anyway. If you look at the recent documentary at Netflix, Cuties, I mean, how Netflix producers or Netflix, allowed that film to be aired around the world, just shows you how crazy things are right now. And it's so important that Trump wins. If Trump loses, and it will only be to fraud, if Trump loses in November, we have a serious problem. And I do see things like civil wars happening around the world. Leftist narrative agenda of some of the LGBT things in the schools, it's pushing. I mean, I watched a video the other day. It was a drag queen in front of children of probably 20 children, and she was reading a book, and she was saying, what do you guys want to be when you're older? And a little boy put his hand up, and he was wearing a dress. This little boy was wearing a pink dress, and he put his hand up and he said, I want to be a Spider-Man. I want to be Spider-Man. And this drag queen turned around and said, well, you could be a pink Spider-Man, or you could be a princess Spider-Man. In itself, that for me is indoctrination on children, because this poor lad, truly, you could see he wanted to be doing what lads are doing, and that is, making sure that they play however they want to play with boys' toys. But then these parents are pushing these children to wear outfits because of their way of thinking. It's absolutely incredible.